Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, write a Java program to create multi-threading. Let me answer this question with practical demonstration. So whenever you create a normal program, only one thread will be assigned to the program and that thread will run. Okay, only one thread will run. But if you want to write a Java program where multiple threads run at the same time, while one thread is running, another thread is also running simultaneously. Okay, like that multiple threads, like two or three or four or five threads, okay, which perform different tasks in the Java program can run simultaneously apart from the original thread. Okay, apart from the single thread, we will create few more threads like two or three or four threads which are going to run parallelly or at the same time, okay, in our Java program. For that, we have to write the code to demonstrate that kind of multi-threading nature of the program, okay, to demonstrate how the multiple threads are running at the same time simultaneously instead of one after the another. While one thread is running, another thread also should run or more threads should run at the same time, okay. Such kind of program they are expecting as an answer for this interview question. So for that, guys, we have to use few things like we have to use some runnable interface, thread class, all these things we have to use. There is run method that we need to override in this class, which is implementing this interface. All those stuff, okay, that we have to write in the Java program to create that multi-threading program where multiple threads can run simultaneously at the same time while one thread is running, other threads are also running. Such kind of thing I'm going to demonstrate here. Initially, I'll not create a multi-threaded program. I'll create a single threaded program and show you how that will work. Okay. So here I'll create a new class. I'll just create a new class, guys. Right click on this package and create a new class. And I'll just name this class as single threaded program. Only one thread will be there. I'm not specially writing any code for, simultaneously running multiple threads at the same time. Okay. With main method, I'll create, and here in this program, I'm not writing any special code, guys. I'm just writing some basic code, just some basic code, guys. Okay. So let's wait for this operation to be done. Some progress is happening here. In this program, I'll write system.out.println. Any program, guys, it will contain at least one thread. Okay. This program has only one thread. Okay. When you run the program, a thread will be initiated. Thread started, you'll say. We don't know what thread is, but we'll say thread started. And here, thread ended, I'll say. Okay. I'll say main thread started. Since it is in the main method, I'll write main thread started and original or main thread, that single thread ended. Okay. Ended, I'll write. Okay. When I run this code, only one thread will be assigned. Okay. Only one thread will be assigned and that thread will start and stop. Okay. You see, when I run the code, the program execution will start with this main thread started and the main thread will be ended. In the output, you will see the same output coming. Main thread started, main thread ended. Here, how many threads are there in this program? Only one thread. Okay. This is a single threaded program, guys. Okay. It's a single threaded program where only one thread is there. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you how to run multiple threads by writing some Java code in the Java programs. For that, I'll create a new class. I'll write multi-threaded demo. Okay, multi-threaded program demo, I'll say. Here, I'll create a main method. Guys. Okay, here, as you already know, in the main method, one thread will be there. Okay, even though I have not written any code to create multiple threads here yet, here I'm going to create something for, I'll just print out saying system.out.println main thread started, same way. Okay, main thread started. This is single threaded so far, but I am going to make this, convert this program into multi-threaded. And here I'll say main thread ended. Main thread ended. While this particular thread is started and it's getting ended, right? I want to run other threads. I want to start other threads also. To start other threads, you have to create a class case. Okay. Give any name for the class. My, okay, Arun threads. Thread runner. You can give any name. I am giving my Arun thread runner, like that, some class. Okay. My thread runner, my runner. You can give any names. Okay. My Arun runner. Okay. Like that, I'll create something, and this particular class have to implement. Okay. Implements it should implement another an interface, a predefined interface known as runnable interface. Runnable interface. Okay, like this we have to create one sample class, guys. You can give any name here. Okay, you can say my Arun runner, my Arun thread runner, whatever you can say. The purpose I am creating this class is to create, to run, to demonstrate when I create one more thread, right? What the thread should do, that I'll write in this particular class. Okay, in this particular class, I'll show you what the thread has to do. Okay, after the thread is started, what the thread has to do, the implementation of what the thread has to do once I start a thread, that code will be there here, guys. Apart from that, here, if you hover the mouse, you see add unimplemented methods. One unimplemented method from this runnable interface is coming. I'll just simply say add unimplemented methods, and here I'll write down the code like this. In this, you can write whatever the code you want, guys. Okay, so when a particular thread is started here, right? When a particular thread starts, right? Okay, when a particular thread starts, right? So this particular run method will be automatically called. If you call a particular thread, if you start a particular thread in this program, right, in the main method code and all, this run method will be called automatically. I'll show you what we can do here. So here, one more thing I'll do, guys. Whenever I start a thread, right, I'll create a create an object for this my thread runner. Okay, tr1, I'll say mtr1, my thread runner 1 is equal to new my Arun thread runner. Okay, like this, I'll create an object for this my thread runner. I'll create a constructor here, guys. To this my thread runner, I'll create a constructor. You know how to create a constructor, right? Public. The name of the class is nothing but name of the constructor, and this should receive the thread name. Okay, string thread name, I'll say. Okay, I would like to give some name for the thread so that when I run the program, right, you will not understand what threads are running and all. Which thread is running, you will not understand. Here, main thread, we already gave the name directly. Main thread started, main thread ended. But I'm going to start few more threads, guys. Okay, that's threads when they start, right? Okay, this code will run. This run method will run when I start some threads. Okay, but I would like to show you like the threads are running. Threads will not be visible to your eyes. That's the reason I have to print the name of the threads and all. So I'll give some thread names here. Okay. So every time I create an object for this my runner, right, I'll just pass some thread name, guys. Okay, I'll just name this as thread one. Okay, thread one. Thread one, I'll say. Okay, thread one. So, and similarly, here when I pass this thread one as the name of the thread, okay, when I pass thread one as the name of the thread, here I'll write down. Here I'll write down whatever the thread is being passed, I'm going to assign. Here I'm going to create a variable, guys. Okay, the variable name is string thread name. Okay, thread name. I'll make thread name. So to differentiate this class variable with the this parameter name, I have to write this dot thread name is equal to thread name. Okay, this dot thread name is called thread name, so that whenever you create an object, right, automatically the name of the thread will be assigned. And that particular thread, if it is running, right, when I start some threads, right, if that particular thread is running, here I have to mention system.out.println, that particular thread has started, I have to say. Okay, what is the thread? Thread name. Okay, thread name has started. Thread name has started. And once the thread, after the thread started, right, I intentionally want to give some thread dot sleep here, thread dot sleep of, let's say, some 1 second, 1 second duration. And here system.out.println, thread name has ended, has exited out, thread started, thread has ended. You can say that, that's okay. And here I'll ignore the exception, guys. I don't want, you see there is no option to ignore the exception. I have to surround with try catch block. Okay, I'll put that here. Thread will be started. After a 1 second delay, the thread will be ended. Okay, and this process I'll put inside a for loop, guys. Okay, this process, thread started, and this try catch block thing before the thread ends, right, this sleep thing. Okay, so what I can do here, I'll simply say thread has started, thread has started, and here I'll write some code for int I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus, I'll write. Just see here what I'm trying to do. So this try catch block I'll write here, and here system.out.println. I'll print the name of the thread. I'll print the name of the thread plus colon. That is, if it is thread 1, if the name of the thread is thread 1, then I'll say thread 1 colon plus, okay. I'll just say I means the value of I, because this thread dot sleep should be running 5 times. Okay, 5 times this should happen. So I'm intentionally delaying the thread. Before ending the thread, it will be very fast. The program will be very fast. If I start the thread, that immediately it will end. Okay, instead I have to sleep for 1 second and I have to repeat this code, for 5 times, and then thread 1, thread 2, thread 3, thread 4, thread 5 will be printed, and after 5 times, right, thread has ended will come. Okay, instead of immediately ending the thread, I am writing this for loop so that we will know that some execution is happening, some thread is running, we can know that. Okay, for every 1 second, right, it will do a polling kind of stuff, like thread has started, thread 1, thread 2, thread 3, thread 4, thread 5, then thread has ended. Okay, like that, this code will run, this run method code. Okay, overridden method. Okay, this overridden method of the runnable interface in this particular user defined class will run every time you start a thread. Okay, the thread will start and it will it will poll for every 1 second, and at the final time it will say thread has ended. Okay, so how many threads you want, it all depends on you guys. Okay, if you want 3 threads, you create an object, 3 objects for this my like this, you create 3 objects. Okay, my Arun thread 2, Arun thread 3, here thread 2, thread 3, I'll say. Here main thread started. And did we start any thread anywhere? No. We are just creating an object for the my thread runnable. What happens is, when you create an object, the name of this particular thread will be assigned here. That thread we are running here. That thread we are running here. How to start the threads then? In order to start the threads, we have to create an object for the thread class. Thread T1 is equal to new thread. Thread T1 is equal to new thread. Okay, this is thread runner, but this is thread. Okay, this is actual thread. And here, when you do that, copy paste this and pass the name of the my thread runner here, so that when you start the thread, right, when you start the thread, this run method will be executed. Okay, so that's how the things will work out. So here again, thread is equal to new thread. Here T2 thread, and here mtr2. Again, one more thread. Thread 3, mtr3. I'll pass. Okay, 3 thread names I am passing here, and I have to start the threads, guys. Okay, I have to start the threads. T1 dot threads dot start. I'll say start the thread. Similarly, T2 dot start. Here I am starting another thread. Here T3 dot start. What will happen when I start the thread? When I start the thread, automatically the code inside the run method will be executed. Okay, for every thread, the code inside the run method will be executed. This is how the syntax will be, guys. If you want to run multiple threads, right, you have to create a class and make that particular class implement a parent interface known as runnable interface, and you will get a run method. We have to override the run method from the runnable interface. It's compulsory, and you have to write the code what you want to do on the thread. Okay, to make the thread visible, right, I'm printing all these print statements, and to make the thread run with a delay, right, I'm just having thread dot sleep here, and every time I'm just waiting for 1 second here before the thread ends. A particular thread ends, I'm polling it. Okay, thread one. Okay, thread 1 started. Okay, 1 started, 2 started, started, and after starting thread 1, thread 2, thread 3, thread 4, thread 5, 5 seconds, then thread will be ended. Okay, for every thread the same thing will happen, guys. Okay, so here main thread started. While the main thread started, when you start another thread, okay, there may be possibility that before this particular thread starts, the main thread will end, guys. Okay, there's nothing much here, right? Okay, we don't have any delay time here. You see, once the main thread starts and main threads end, there is no particular delay time. Okay, it will start the threads, and the threads are running parallelly, and here you see main thread started, main thread will end, because these threads will take more time. Okay, this thread 1, thread 2, thread 3, when it starts, right, they are taking 5 seconds of time, because I put int I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, means 5 seconds. Every thread will have 5 seconds of time before they end, but the main thread doesn't have that much period of time. Once the main thread started, once the other threads also started parallelly, right, you can see that in the output how the threads are running parallelly while the 3 other threads are started. Before any of them, this thread may before any of these threads end, right, this main thread will end. Why? Because we don't have any delay between the main thread and main thread ending. We don't have any thread dot sleep written anywhere. Okay, so the main thread will be completed, but other three threads will be simultaneously running. So this is one example of the multi-thread program. So this is how we have to write the logic, guys, and we have to pass the name of the thread using the constructor of this my thread runner user defined class here, which is implementing the runnable. Okay, and that thread name we are using here. This will be running when you start the threads. Okay, this run method code will be running when you start the threads. Okay, let's see. Here 4 threads are there, guys. First thread is a main thread that will start and end, because before the other threads end, right, start and end, right, before the other threads end, right. So what happens is main thread will get ended because there is no no time between the starting and ending of this main thread. Okay, run this code here and see what is happening in the code. Just see here in the output what will happen in the output. Just see. Okay, there's something going on already. First you see main thread started, main thread ended, and simultaneous thread 1 has started, thread 2 has started. You see, while all these 3 threads are running parallelly, guys, and finally thread has ended, thread 1 has ended, thread 2, 3 has ended, thread 2 has ended. Okay, simultaneously these 3 threads were running, and main thread doesn't have that much delay. If you want to give a particular delay for the main thread also, you can delay the main thread also. Thread dot sleep, if you give like 3 seconds, if you say 3 seconds, right, this thread also will end after 3 seconds. Okay, ignore the exception and run the code and see that while other threads are running, the main thread, you see main thread started here and it has not ended immediately. Somewhere here main thread ended in between while other threads are running. You see, simultaneously multiple threads are getting executed. I can increase the number here, guys, to something like 15 or something. You can see that what is going on. Okay, they will take more time this time, 15 seconds at least. You see main thread started, thread 2 has started, thread 1, that means 3 threads are currently running. Thread 3 also has started after a while and main thread ended here. And you see thread 1, all these I values are getting printed. You see, I have written a program in a wrong way. I have to write, here I should be writing without double quotes. I have to give, guys. Okay, sorry for that. And I'll run the code again. Right click, run as Java application. Again, main thread started, thread 2 also has started, thread 1 also has started. Simultaneously, multiple threads are running, guys. Thread 1, thread 2, 2 iterations. You see, thread 3, 9 is coming, thread 3, 10, 11. You see, it's still going on, okay? 15 times they will be 15 seconds. Thread 1 has ended, thread 3 has ended, thread 2 has, even though I started thread 3 at the last, but thread 3 has ended before, guys, okay? Before thread 2, it depends on the situations, guys, okay? The computer will decide that. But here, this is a simple program, guys, where you can run multiple threads. In the output also, I showed you how the 4 threads were running. Main thread started here, parallelly 4 threads were running in our program, okay? If you want to increase the number of threads, you can add one more thread here and start it here by creating an object for the thread class and passing the name of the thread to the my thread runner. And the object reference of this user defined class, which is implementing the runnable interface, has to be passed as an argument of this thread, okay? So that the run method inside the my thread runner will be executed. When you start the thread, right, the what code will be executed, the run method code will be executed, okay? Run method code in the class which is implementing the runnable will be. This is the logic, guys. This is the logic we have to write. Okay, there is no other shortcut way of understanding this stuff, but this is the way it should be. I'll do one thing. I'll just ask you guys to take the screenshot now. Now you can take the screenshot of this main method at least. First, you take the screenshot of this main method, guys, where I'm creating the objects for this my thread runner and passing the names of the threads and creating the threads and starting the threads and all. And here main thread is starting, main thread is ending, and before ending the thread, right, I'm giving 3 seconds of time so that you can see that multiple threads are running parallelly. By looking at the output, you can clearly understand that how the different threads are running simultaneously there. Okay, every thread has its own operation, guys. Okay, so fine, hope you have taken the screenshot for this particular main method code, and now you can take the screenshot for this code, guys. Okay, now you can take the screenshot of this code, guys. Okay, so this user defined class, which is implementing the runnable interface, where we are setting the name for the thread, and at the same time we have this code. When you start the thread, right, this particular code will be executed. Okay, for every thread, this particular code will be executed. When you start a particular thread manually, right, okay, this particular run method code will be executed. We are overriding the run method of the runnable interface, which happens internally, but we are explicitly overriding it and making the thread run, okay, simultaneously. Fine. So hope, guys, you have taken the screenshot of this code also. So with this right, have successfully demonstrated how to write the Java program to create multi-threaded environment or where multiple threads will run simultaneously. Here in this example I demonstrated, I was running 4 threads, okay, simultaneously, including the main thread. Other 3 child threads which were created during the program were also running. Okay, so that's how the threads can be run at the same time. That is called as multi-threading, and this is how we have to write the Java program as an answer for this interview question. We have to use a runnable interface, run method of the runnable interface. We have to use a thread class, create an object for thread class, and pass the user defined class object to this, which implements the runnable interface and all those stuff that I covered here. So that's all for this session, guys. Thank you. Practice well. You'll understand more once you practice 1 or 2 or 3 times, right? This example, you'll be able to understand the gist of this in a better way. So this is how anyone can explain. Anyone cannot go behind this. So that's all for this session. Hope you got the answer for this question. Thank you. Bye bye.